Council, May 5th, 2025. I'm going to ask Councilman Chris Hawkins if he'll lead us of a pledge to allegiance to the flag. If you please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call on Pastor Andrew Wisner, the pastor of New Covenant Lutheran Church, a mission of the North American Lutheran Church, to lead us in an invocation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, for the opportunity to join you this evening for a prayer. Eternal God, our Creator, we give you thanks. We thank you for the gift of life and for your blessings sustaining our lives. We thank you for our clean air, clean water, clean soil, for our food, our daily bread, and thank you for the gift of each other. Gracious Lord, you have arranged for us to live in communities, to help and support and encourage each other. And you have given the gift of leadership in our communities. Thank you for these leaders here who have volunteered to help organize our lives in justice and goodness. Bless them with wisdom and grace, that they guide our community with liberty and justice for all. Grant your blessing to all our city and county employees, to first responders, and to all the citizens of Morganton, Burke County, and the surrounding communities, that we promote the common good for each other and for the world. We recognize, God, we are abundantly blessed. Use us to be a means of blessing for others. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Wisner. I'd like to introduce council. To my far right, Wendy Cato, Mayor Pro Tem, Chris Jernigan, City Council, Keith Rigsby, our City Attorney. I'm Ronnie Thompson, your Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager, Butch McSwain, City Council, Chris Hawkins, City Council, our City Clerk, Renee Carswell, and our interpreters for the deaf community, Danette Stillman Bridges and Ernest Williams IV. We have a special retirement tonight. One of our employees is retired. I'd like to read a resolution, please. A resolution honoring Stephen Braswell. Whereas Stephen Braswell was employed by the City of Morganton part-time in the Public Works Department on April 25, 2014, promoted to full-time as a cemetery grounds maintenance worker in Public Works on June 9, 2014, promoted to landscape technician on April 1, 2017, changed to street sweeper Public Works on August 28, 2021, and whereas Stephen Braswell has faithfully served and given of his time and effort for the citizens of the City of Morganton for 10 years, and whereas Stephen Braswell retired from the City of Morganton as a street sweeper in the Public Works Department on April 30th, 2025, and whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Stephen Braswell and express their appreciation for a job well done, now therefore be it resolved, the Morganton City Council present this resolution to Stephen Braswell, adopted this 5th day of May 2025. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager. To have a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
To have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and I'll ask Councilman Butch McSwain if he'll make that presentation, please. Stephen, if you'll come forward.
Stephen, I'm old and I'm moving slow.
I'm there with you.
As you know, I'm a retired city employee also.
Yes, sir.
And fortunately, tonight, we have two others here, too, that I would like to ask to come up here and welcome you to the fraternity sorority of retired employees. Come here, Alan, Karen. We almost never have other retired people here, so I want to take advantage of that. It's a good life, isn't it? And again, thank you very much for all of the service and looking at the different roles you played I could tell by the way the good-natured stuff was going on around the room before the meeting started, that a lot of different faces here knew you.
I hope they're not happy because I'm not coming back.
I think the effort I saw was that they were trying to get you to change your mind.
I heard
Too
those-
many people back here to keep that from happening.
Yes, sir.
But thank you very much again, and congratulations, and
Thank you,
enjoy
sir.
it.
I will.
Be sure to come back every time we have a retire.
And now you get to talk, but before that, I get to hug. There's your wish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Young man, would you like to say a few words? I know you had a speech prepared earlier, you told me.
Yeah, but it was pretty thick, sir.
Okay.
Well, my brother, Frank, he retired from the city as a fire engineer. And his son, my nephew Wesley, is now a lieutenant with public safety on the fire department side. So I guess there's going to be 3 generations kind of go down the way. All of my supervisors and assistant supervisors I've had, which is basically 2 sets, Steve Mills and Jim Pless, and Cemetery and Grounds, and Scott Stewart and Dustin Dillinger, which is the ones I had in the street department. Great guys, and you should be proud of them. They all do great work. The rest of the guys in electric department, my buddies there, the garage, sanitation, water department, up here, Parks and Rec. It's not even been a full week, and I'm already missing everybody. But my wife's making sure I have plenty of work and things to do, and I wish I could name everybody because everybody has, my family has grown tremendously for working here. And I'm going to miss everybody, but I plan on coming up and aggravating somebody every now and then. But thank y'all, and thank you for the opportunity to work for the city.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for all you've done. We have some service pins on our agenda. Donnie Dellinger, 25 years as a PSO Special Assignment in Public Safety. He was not able to be with us tonight. We also have James Hildebrand, 25-year PM, who at Comma, a maintenance worker. I'm going to ask Chris Jernigan if he'll make that. James, if you'll come forward. And Councilman Jernigan, if you'll make that presentation, please.
James, or as those of us who know you a little better, Shaggy.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate all the hard work that you have put in with the city for 25 years, especially the work at Comma. It's just amazing when we have shows there, how clean things are, how great the productions are, and all the hard work that goes into it. We know you're a big part of all that work, and we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
James, would you like to say something?
Well, it's been a long, strange trip. I can't believe it's been 25 years.
I know.
I mean, it seems like just yesterday I started. And I've enjoyed most every minute of it. It's never the same thing twice, so it's not boring. I just thank you all for the opportunity to remain with the city, and maybe I'll be back to get a retirement plaque before long.
James, thanks so much.
Thanks, James.
Under public advocacy, we have a proclamation I'd like to read, which is National Public Works Week. Whereas public work professionals serving in their communities every day to meet the needs of people is what gives public works its sense of purpose, focusing on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of North Carolina. And whereas public works infrastructure, facilities, and services are of vital importance to the health, safety, economy, and overall well-being of the people of Morganton. And whereas such facilities and service could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals, engineers, administrators, and other employees representing all levels of government who are responsible for and must plan, design, construct, operate, and maintain the public works facility essential to serve our citizens, and whereas it is vital the public understand and appreciate the importance of the jobs performed by the dedicated employees of Public Works, and whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, be it now resolved, I, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor of the City of Morganton, do hereby designate the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025, as Public Works Week in Morganton with the theme of People, Purpose, and Presence. Furthermore, I call upon all citizens in the community develop and maintain an appreciation the Public Works needs and programs essential to our everyday lives, and to recognize the daily contributions which Public Works employees make to ensure our health, safety, comfort, and the quality of life. Proclaimed this 5th day of May 2025, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, and Renee Carswell, our City Clerk. I think Brad Boris wants to make a comment. Brad, if you'll come forward. Brad is our Director of Water Resources. You have some comments?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. We are celebrating the employees that make the vital, important infrastructure assets that the city and all municipal governments have, whether it be safety, the big thing with streets and safe sidewalks, and we also have to look at the health improvements that the benefits from water resources and sanitation with garbage collection, sewer services from water resources department. We are very thankful to have dedicated employees, and on behalf of the Public Works Department and the Water Resources Department, I just want to say thank you to all of our employees, and we appreciate the customers as well. So without a further ado, I just appreciate it. We look forward to celebrating Public Works Week.
Thank you, Brad, for all you and your departments do.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is a recognition of our Public Information Officer. Janelle Sigmund was awarded second place in the writing category at the annual North Carolina City and County Communicators Conference for her press release entitled, quote, "City Hires First Female Firefighter Since 2017. That story promotes her success in a male-dominated career, encourages young females to consider firefighting as a career option, and inspires others. One of the judges in the award competition stated, "I love this story. What an inspiration to young women in the community, region, and state." So we just want to recognize Janelle for her award. Would you like to say some comments?
Just a few things. I wouldn't get any of these awards if the good things like this didn't happen in the city. So lots of good things are going on, and I'm honored to be able to share all those things. And I just wanted to say thank you to Sally, the council, and Sonja too, that I'm just able to be a part of the North Carolina City County Communicators organization. It is a great organization to be a part of, and I get to just communicate with all the other PIOs across the state, and it's just a very beneficial thing. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spreading the word. Our next update is a Main Street update. I'd like to call our Main Street manager, Mackenzie McGinnis, forward to give us an update. I believe you have a handout on your desk.
Yes, hello. So with North Carolina Main Street, the Morganton Main Street program submits our statistics every year to them. And so this year they actually sent us a nifty little handout that we could edit ourselves. So we were able to share these statistics and the great things that are going on in the Morganton Main Street program. So that's what I've set before you. So I'm just going to go over a couple of the highlights so you can see them. For the downtown investments, we had over $604,000 for public investment, over $4.2 million in private investment, 24 net new businesses, 30 net gained jobs, and we also had 2,781 volunteer hours for a value of $83,000 put into downtown last year, or for year 23 and 24. The Main Street office is committed to fostering a thriving downtown community. Our vision is for downtown Morganton to be a fun place to live, work, shop, play, and do business. Our work is guided by strategy and specific goals, such as the following goals from the 2017 master plan: increase retail and restaurant occupancy to 90%, expand housing opportunities, integrate art everywhere through murals, sculptures, and installations. And we achieve this impact from various programs within our office, including facilitating connections between property owners and potential tenants, offering valuable marketing assistance, providing loan programs to help businesses grow, funding streetscapes, landscaping, and beautification of downtown, and much, much more. Through our promotional activities and events, they're very successful in bringing people downtown. We have our Third Thursday Art Crawls, the TGIF Summer Concert Series, the Morganton Festival, the Farmers Market, Winter Carnival, Halloween Spooktacular, and more. And those showcase downtown's unique character, history, and culture, which in turn attracts customers, investors, and businesses to town. With our social media promotion, our marketing reach is broad. We have a strong social media presence with over 22,000 followers on Facebook, just on Downtown Morganton's Facebook, and then the festival has its own separate Facebook with over 12,000 followers, the Farmers Market with 5.6 thousand, and the DDA with 3.3. And so we're able to reach a lot, we're able to push our promotions, and that is one of our favorite ways to engage with the public from our office and get that positive feedback. And realtors tell me that they show that to the people coming to Morganton, and they pick it because they know that there's so much community and things going on downtown. So we are proud to meet the rigorous standards of the North Carolina Main Street program. We're excited to recap 2024 and 2025 in just a couple of months and see downtown continue to grow and become a destination for residents and visitors alike. For anyone that would like a full copy of this community impact report, you can find it linked on downtownmorganton.com under Economic Development and Main Street. And that is all. Thank you.
Mackenzie, I'd like to express our appreciation. Our city attorney and Councilman Jernigan was at the League of Municipalities, and a lot of cities were commenting on our Main Street program, and just so proud of what we do. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm honored to do it.
Okay. As I mentioned, we went to the League of Municipalities, and we had several programs presented to the city officials, one of which was from our North Carolina State Auditor, had some comments to say about Morganton and our finance department. So I'd like to call on Chris Jernigan if he'd make a report on what was said.
Certainly would, Mayor. Thank you. Yeah, it was quite a day having the state auditor there and talking about, of course, all of the disaster of the West, and that's what a lot of the gist of the whole meeting was. Our governor spoke, the auditor, the Secretary of State, as well as the Attorney General. And all of the focus, of course, was on all of the efforts going on in Western North Carolina, but the auditor was particularly happy with what we've been doing here in Morganton, and I think his words were, "Your finance team there is rock solid," and basically talking a whole lot about how we brought to their attention, our finance team brought to their attention, how all of our municipalities are having to wait and wait and wait to get these reimbursements back from FEMA or from whomever we can, and the short-term fix for that would not work. They were going to appropriate some money that would help us get through, but it was such a short time before we would have to repay that we couldn't last. They would have to stretch that out for us because it's going to take so much longer for the FEMA and the other funding to come in. And so I think it was the first time that they realized that, and Sally and Jesse, they were very, very appreciative of how you brought that to their attention, and I think that's going to resonate throughout the state for all municipalities. So thank you. But it was a proud moment for me sitting there to hear our auditor say, "Anybody here from Morganton?" Yeah.
Oh,
Thank-
that's when you go, oh, we don't know, before you know what they're gonna say.
Usually when the state auditor's talking, you worry. You worry a lot, right, Jesse? Thank you, Chris. Okay, under our upcoming events, our outdoor pool and splash pad will open on Friday, May 30th. If you want to register for swim lessons, tennis lessons, and summer camp, you can contact Parks and Recreation. In downtown, we have art in the hall. Scott Turgens, sketching and painting abstract art. The American Red Cross will do a blood drive at City Hall May the 8th from 9 a.m. to 1:30 in the council chambers. Our farmers market Wednesday from 10 to 1 at 111 North Green Street on May 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. And Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon at 300 Beach Street on May 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. Our TGIF 25 free concert series will be every Friday night from 6 to 10 with music starting at 7 o'clock from May through July, except for July 4th. And third Thursday art crawl will be Thursday, May 15th at 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in downtown Morganton. Next is our North Carolina Municipal Power Agency update. Sally, do we have anything?
Can report that the rate committee has done their work and they are recommending no wholesale rate increase this year. With the caveat that starting next year, we'll have a series of rate increases to expect.
Okay, next is our consent agenda. I believe we have 6 items. Sally, will you cover those?
I will, and we would ask that you approve those in one single motion unless somebody wants an item removed and discussed separately. And for those of you viewing at home, those 6 items are minutes from the meeting on April the 17th, which was really the 7th, that should say April 7th. And then March tax releases in the amount of $1,642.47. Setting filing fees for municipal elections, which will occur in the fall of this year. 2 city council seats will be up, and that filing fee is recommended to be $25. And then waiving permit fees for storm damaged properties now through the end of this calendar year, December 31st, 2025. Of course, we haven't been charging those since the storm. And then a resolution designating Chief Ryan Lander as the official to make recommendations to the North Carolina ABC Control Commission when we're doing permit applications. And finally, to contract with Bars Recreation for park amenities at the Bethel Park redo in the budgeted amount of $240,000. We received several responses from folks that can provide park amenities. Bars was the one that provided us the most bang for our buck at our total budget.
Does anyone wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Have a second? Second. Thank you, Butch. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Under new business, consideration of award of a master services agreement for professional engineering services. Sally?
Yes, so in the continuing saga of our Hurricane Helene rebuild, we're at the next step with our boardwalk. You guys recall that in February, you issued a contract for us to begin to demolish the boardwalk that sustained damage at River Village during the storm. That work has gone on, and then we have issued RFQs and RFPs, all kinds of acronyms, proposals for doing engineering work to design, bid, and then construction oversight for a boardwalk replacement at River Village. Have received both of those back in, received 4 RFQs, which were engineers that were deemed qualified to provide the services, received 3 proposals with dollar amounts attached to them, and would recommend that you consider a contract tonight with, I'll probably get this wrong, but Arate? I don't know if I said that correctly, engineers of Morganton, North Carolina, in an amount not to exceed $120,730. They were the lowest responsible bid for that work. I might also add that they have a vested interest in that their offices are at River Village, and they are some of the tenants planning to go back, and indeed back there, and so this is literally in their back door.
What's the wish of council?
I'll enter a motion to approve a master services agreement with Arete Engineers for on-call engineering services and to authorize the mayor and/or the city manager to execute the agreement and any other necessary documents.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need another motion, please.
Make a motion to award a contract with Arete Engineers of Morganton, North Carolina, in the amount not to exceed $120,730 to perform the design, bidding, and construction services for the boardwalk replacement at River Village, and to authorize the mayor and/or city manager to execute the contract and any other necessary documents.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is consideration of adopting resolutions opposing North Carolina House Bill 765, Senate Bill 492, and Senate Bill 451 regarding zoning and building requirements for local government. I'll call our planning director, Wendy Smith, for information.
Thank you. Yes, there are I believe approximately 120 bills at the moment that relate to zoning and building matters. These are three of the most significant that affect how we are able to do our day-to-day activities and in line with what we believe the citizens expect of us. So we have prepared three resolutions, which I'm not going to read in detail about those, but we'll give you a quick summary of what each of those entail. And then hopefully we will be following up with some conversations with legislators and things about specifics of the items that specifically concern us. So House Bill 765 mainly deals with development regulations and changes to 160D that regulate that, as well as a few other minor statutes. The bill eliminates a lot of elements of site designs that we can regulate, anything from landscaping standards in some instances to how big our driveways can be coming off of streets. In some cases, the language is very vague where it says you need substantial evidence, but doesn't say what substantial evidence is. And, sorry, I forgot to mention, this bill was an attempt to fix Bill 382 that was passed last December, hurriedly after the hurricane, that had a whole bunch of stuff in it that wasn't related to the hurricane. But it still doesn't really fix a lot of those problems, but goes in and adds a lot more. It would set statewide standards for minimum densities. We have a big concern about that because it's proposing that there would be a minimum of 4 dwelling units per acre anywhere in cities that are under 125,000. There's a couple of different regulations for cities, the 7 or 8 cities that are over 125,000. Big concern that we have about that is that we don't have water and sewer capabilities to service 4 dwelling units per acre throughout the city, but this would say we can't deny them. The intent of the bill is obviously to make housing cheaper for people, but if we can't put sewer there and you gotta put in a $50,000 alternative septic system because you're on such a small lot, you're not really making housing cheaper for people. It will eliminate council review of subdivisions, and you only do that now when you're getting new city infrastructure, so you won't have a chance to review that. It would all be administratively approved. It limits the ability of members of staff, governing and appointed bodies to vote on development matters. There's a couple of new things that would add in there, including if you've taken a particular public stance on an issue, which I can see for people that are running for election might be something you'd want to do or that your citizens would want you to do. But then if that matter came before council because you've taken a public stance, you wouldn't be allowed to vote on it. So it's of interest. It also introduces civil liability for some of those same development decisions, both for staff, for appointed board members on Planning and Zoning Commission and for city council members. So you could be civilly liable if somebody didn't like a development decision that you made. And then it sets very strict timeframes for development reviews that we were really concerned could result in the need for additional staffing requirements to be able to meet those reviews. And those provisions are also kind of vague because it says that you have to give them a list of what's missing within 14 days, but it's unclear if that list is every single item or if that's just, hey, you forgot your utilities plan. Or if that's, we need to know exactly how many trees, bushes, parking spaces, whatever else is missing. Again, it's just not, it's trying to fix things, but it's not quite clear enough. And in areas where we can, we would like to have those conversations about this might be a better provision to work for that. So we just spent 2 years doing a comprehensive plan that set the citizens' visions for the city. That was required by state law. And now they're saying, don't worry about what you put together. Here's the rules for those. So we have some big concerns about that and other similar bills. Senate Bill 451 reduces continuing education requirements for a range of professions for ones that would affect the city, building inspectors, engineers, surveyors, landscape architects, as well as your general contractors. And it basically cuts all your continuing education requirements in half. Our building inspectors are telling us we actually need more education every year to keep up with the advances and changes in technology. And we are very concerned that general contractors might not have the ability to keep up with those as well, resulting in buildings that maybe are unsafe for our residents because we've not had a chance to be across those things. Again, there could be on-flow effects to city budgets and things if we're having to do that training anyway. And then lastly, Senate Bill 492 is one in particular that our fire marshal was worried about, in that it authorizes single exit stairways in multifamily residential buildings for if you have a certain number of units and you're up to 8 stories, you can have, you'd only have the single exit stairway. And we did have a recent fire where someone passed away and their exit was blocked. I would like to be able to provide housing, if I'm on the 8th floor, with another option besides just that single exit stairway. So we're concerned that that one promotes housing development over life safety. Really something to value. So any questions on any of those? Be happy.
Any questions? Wendy, I think the last Senate Bill 492, which eliminates multi-exits out of a building, is just, it's crazy. I mean, people need at least 2 different ways to get out of a building in case there is a fire, because you never know where the fire is going to start.
Right. If it's in that exit.
And House Bill 765, which eliminates our review of subdivisions and new infrastructure, it would be up to,
It would be a set of requirements that staff would have, and essentially we do that anyway, in that we wouldn't present something to you that didn't meet our engineering standards.
Right.
So we expect that you would trust that we've done the research and that we're able to say, yes, this meets all of our rules and guidelines and all of that. However, we're fairly unusual for a city of our size to have an engineer on staff, to even have an engineering department, to be able to have the capacity to really review those in such detail. It does add, a month or so onto the time frame of developing it, but it's not like they're paused in that time period.
Right.
They're able to still keep designing the things they're building in the subdivision and so forth. So
other questions? What's the wish of council?
Motion to adopt resolutions opposing changes to North Carolina House Bill 765, Senate Bill 492, and Senate Bill 451.
Thank you, Wendy. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion?
Wendy, what have we gotten feedback from our representatives?
Warren Daniel was quoted in the paper last week in saying that he was in support of some of these bills.
Sure.
That made housing cheaper. We've not had any other direct communication with any of our representatives about that.
Butch?
Well, it would be interesting to me to see how their stance would be if they were civilly liable for a death and where there's one stairwell. Since they introduced and put this before us, so
We hope
hard to
we-
imagine.
I think most people are for affordable housing, but it's got to be a good plan, and this doesn't seem to be one.
The home builders have quite a lobby,
I imagine.
quite a lobby.
Just got to vote now.
Okay, no further discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Wendy. Next is consideration to adopt a resolution agreeing to assume proportionate share of the outstanding debt of Salem Fire and Rescue Department in connection with an annexation. I'll call our city attorney, Keith Rigsby, please.
Okay, we get to talk about the scintillating topics of annexation and assumption of debt for just a minute here. So you'll recall that there was an annexation matter that came before you, the last two meetings, actually. You voted in favor of annexation of an area, 3 tracts of property on Pete Britton and Enola Roads. That annexation became effective May the 1st. And as part of that process, which was a voluntary annexation petition filed by the owner of those 3 tracts, called Madcap Adventures LLC, as part of that process, we requested from Salem Fire and Rescue Department information related to its debts under statute 168-31.1. If the annexed area is served by a rural fire department, city is required by law to pay annually a proportionate share of any payments of debt that are owed by the rural fire department, in this case Salem Fire and Rescue Department. We received that information concerning their debt and did a calculation pursuant to statute concerning the proportionate share. The city's annual share of that debt is $3,861.84. The calculation, the details of it is shown in the paperwork attached to the proposed resolution. That same statute also requires us to confer jointly with Salem Fire and Rescue to reach a agreed-upon payment schedule that then has to go to the local government commission for approval. That calculation is also attached to your paperwork. That proposed payment schedule has been agreed upon between the city and Salem Fire and Rescue Department, obviously subject to your approval. Salem Fire and Rescue will meet on May the 12th to consider a similar resolution. If those resolutions are adopted, those then get sent to the local government commission along with a written request for approval of the payment schedule. So obviously, the adoption of this resolution would facilitate the process of getting that approved.
Thank you, Keith. What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution agreeing to assume proportionate share of the outstanding debt of Salem Fire and Rescue Department in connection with annexation.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion to have a second. Thank you, Wendy. Any discussion? Keith, thanks so much for that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is a Human Relations Commission mayoral appointment. I am going to reappoint Tricia Evans Hunt to the Human Relations Commission for a term to expire May 3rd, 2028.
And could we back up and do an item before announcing the 30-day notices? We need to do what now is on every agenda that we have, a budget amendment to appropriate funds for storm-related expenses, asking that you consider a budget amendment in the general fund to transfer $130,000 to fund continued expenses in the Helene Project Fund.
Okay, we have a motion, please.
Motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $130,000 to appropriate fund balance from the general fund to fund the Helene Project Fund.
Thank you, Chris. Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Butch. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need a second amendment, a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve a budget amendment to increase the project fund for the Helene storm-related expenses in the amount of $130,000.
Thank you, Butch. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Sally, I believe we have a resolution authorizing something for small business.
We do, but before that, a little bit about the storm, and not to belabor the point, but obviously, we're continuing to take action with every council meeting, right? To continue to try to put it all back together and to make it all work. We'll say that at the April meeting, I announced that we were very excited because we had two of our expenses, electric mutual aid and the silt removal from the greenway, have been approved not only by FEMA but by the state folks, and that meant that money was on the way. Well, we are a month later and we are still waiting for that money, and so we are in exactly the same position. We have two items that have been approved and we still have received $0, but we are continuing to work on that, and hopefully it'll come soon, and continuing to submit more of our expenses for the emergency work to try to get that rolling. But a month later, we're still waiting on those dollars.
Thank you for that update. We do have a resolution to apply for a North Carolina Commerce Grant. Could you bring us up to date?
I can. So on April 29th, we received notification that the North Carolina Commerce Department has opened and started a small business infrastructure program, which is a grant program, new. It is first come, first serve, and they are allowing local governments to apply for grants up to $1 million. The grants would be made to the local government, in this case to the city. They are to support infrastructure projects, and there's a list in there of qualifying infrastructure, and list is a variety of things. And the requirement is that the infrastructure improvements funded with this would restore or increase access to impacted small businesses. The project must directly benefit the small businesses, and the businesses must have 150 or fewer employees. So we're thinking that the boardwalk is perfect for this, because that is literally an access attached to quite a few small businesses, and I know that the repairs continue down there, and that some of the tenants aren't coming back, and so they're trying to rent out spaces. The restaurant's trying to get back going. So we are applying for this grant with the help of Western Piedmont Council of Governments, and hopefully we can be successful. We just awarded the engineering contract for the boardwalk tonight, so we don't know exactly, but we feel like the cost to put it back is going to be somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million. This $1 million would go a long way toward that, and we could have access to that before the full FEMA process. We are still in the FEMA process for it, however. If we're not successful in this, or we don't get 100% of our money, we'll continue that process as well.
Is it a matching grant?
It is not a matching grant.
What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to authorize staff to apply for a grant through the North Carolina Commerce Small Business Infrastructure Program in the amount of $1 million, and to authorize the mayor and/or city manager to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I think all I have left is a 30-day notice of vacancies, and it's a lengthy list. Board of Adjustments, we have 3 terms are expiring. 1 vacancy, a city alternate, and it's a council appointment. On the Board of Adjustment, Thad Ewer, Dale Britton, and Brian Lindsay's terms are expiring June 3rd, 2025. On our Cable Commission, we have 1 term expiring and 3 vacancies, 1 for AARP, 1 for the high school, and 1 clergy. These are council appointments. Mary Roseborough has a term expiring June 1st, 2025. Also vacancies, 1 clergy, again, 1 high school, and 1 from AARP. Under community appearance, there are 2 terms are expiring, 1 vacancy, and that's a mayoral appointment. Liz Beach and Eddie McGimsey have terms expiring on June 30th, 2025. Under Main Street Advisor, we have 5 terms are expiring. They are mayoral appointments. Talis Stefanidis, Bobby McCombs, Marianne Kozel, Ashley Bruner, and Nancy Van Oppen have terms expiring June 30th, 2025. Under Planning and Zoning, we have 3 terms are expiring. Their council appointments. Judy Francis, Hank Dickinson, and Pete Wallace have terms expiring on June 3rd, 2025. And under Recreation Advisory, 3 terms are expiring. Their council appointments. Jose Alberto Garcia Villa, Stephen Grady, and Ken Gratton have terms expiring June 30th, 2025. Anything else to come before City Council tonight? Sally, are you good?
I'm good. So we are accepting applications for those from the folks whose terms are expiring if they want to continue serving, and then from new folks that would like to throw their name in the hat.
Anything else to come before City Council? We are adjourned.